Hello there, and welcome to Castin's Corner. If we haven't had the chance of meeting yet, I am Castin, the Client Care Coordinator at Rhapsody Psychotherapy and Counseling. My role here is all about supporting you outside of the therapy room. That looks like answering questions, helping you understand what therapy can look like, making sure you feel comfortable and confident, and finding that right therapist for you. So basically, I'm here to make that process feel a little less overwhelming and a lot more human. So, welcome. This is Castin's Corner. So this is going to be a space that we are going to be doing monthly, where I'm able to take a bit of a muggle's look at a aspect of the psychotherapy world, breaking things down in a less confusing way, a way that's more approachable, real, gentle, and easy to understand. There's not going to be any clinical jargon or pressure, just an honest conversation with some guidance and different tools that you can use that I actually use in my everyday life to help best support myself. So for today's video, we're going to be walking through how we create vision boards for upcoming months. So a vision board is really just a really good visual reminder of the life that you want moving forwards. It's less about perfection or the big picture goals, and more so how you want to feel, what brings you joy, the habits or intentions that you want to grow into, and it can reflect who you're becoming, how you want to show up, think, or feel, or just things that you really appreciate about yourself. There isn't a right or wrong way to do a vision board. It's just however fits your needs is the way that you're supposed to do it. So if you're feeling a little reflective, curious, or just in the mood to be a little creative, follow along with me as I create a vision board.
All right, let's hop into this. So to start off my vision board, I decided to use this cardstock square as a base. I chose this brown color because it felt like a really nice neutral starting point, and I knew it would help all of the other elements on my board really pop once everything came together. So before I add anything, I always like to pause and ask myself one question. How do I want myself to feel? So the first step we want to think about is, what do we want to feel in the next few months? How do we want life to feel like? This time, for myself, I chose the feelings of connection, pride, and acceptance. So I do want you to remember this is a very personal thing. It's going to be different depending on how you feel. So for this black and white eye drawing here, this was one of actually the first drawings I ever made, and it's only using charcoal, which is a medium I've never worked with before. I'm really proud of how it turned out, so I thought it would be a really nice first piece for me to kind of put on here, and it fits perfectly with my pride theme. I also found this giant pizza page in a coupon book, and since pizza is one of my favorite foods, I thought it would be super cute and fun to add a little heart of pizza onto my board. So that turned out beautiful. I love how that came out. I'm currently digging through my rummage box. This is a big box that I have where I keep all of those clippings that I talked about earlier, and I kind of just pick through to make different words using mismatched text that I find. So this little table that I have on this little blue piece of paper on the top right there is actually from a Costco flyer, and it immediately reminded me of my family's dining room table at home. Growing up, my family's always ate dinner together at the table, and it was our designated time to talk about our day and be together. Even now, when I go home to visit, we still uphold that tradition, and it's something I've always really cherished. So I thought it would be a cute little note to have that included on my board to kind of represent and hone in that theme of connection. I also added a little drawing I did of the Nintendo Switch controllers to represent shared joy. Ironically, my boyfriend and I are absolutely obsessed with Mario Kart, so I feel like that's also kind of a perfect second reason to include the little remotes on here. Alright, so using the little cutout letters, I decided to write the word present here. And that's just to kind of reiterate to myself that I want to make sure that I am being aware of where I am now in this moment and not necessarily always focusing on what's to come. That's something I really want to kind of turn my attention to in the next coming months. The little white rectangle you saw me add to the right there is actually a sketch of my hall closet. I am a huge fan of organization, and I recently reorganized my entire hall closet with dividers and printed labels, and I was so happy with how it turned out. So I wanted to include it on my sheet here. Small accomplishments matter too, and I think that's really important to remember. And it's a perfect example of something that I am super proud of. That it really isn't a big deal, but it is to me. All right, I'm going a little washi tape crazy here, but I love washi tape. So I used the gray washi tape to secure this old styled phone that I drew, and I put a little heart right in the middle to kind of symbolize love and connection. One thing I really want to work on in the coming months is calling my extended family more, and I really want to have more intentional actions in staying connected. I think that's something that is really important to me, and I really want to value coming up. In case you didn't know, I am actually in my final year at Trenton University. I'm majoring in psychology. And one of my favorite theories that I learned about was this theory that Broff and Bryner brought up called the zone of proximal development. The idea behind it is basically that we don't want to do anything challenge wise that's too overwhelming, but we also don't want to do anything where there's no challenge. The ideal place to sit when doing a task is somewhere right in the middle, kind of like Goldilocks and her porridge, just right. That's where you kind of want to be, and I always try to remind myself of that. Sometimes I feel like I'm not challenging myself enough, or maybe I'm challenging myself too much, and I feel like that's just a really important piece to remember as you go through life. I've also included the phrase, celebrate the small wins. This is just a nice reminder to take pride in everything I accomplish, no matter how small it might seem. I also added a little smiley face, which seems super cliche, but I think it's a perfect representation of acceptance and the happiness that can come from acceptance. And then I also added a creeper head because, I don't really need to explain. Minecraft is elite. I love Minecraft. It is one of my favorite pastimes, so of course it has earned a spot on my board. The next quote I used is enjoy life, not everything needs to be perfect. And this one was actually a little tough for me to write. I am a bit of a perfectionist, so I really like everything to be perfect and exactly how it is. So I tried to make sure that I wrote it a little bit more messy and loose, and I even tried to write perfect wrong. I misspelled a couple of the letters and flipped them the wrong way, and I think it came out really nice. You can see here, I'm actually writing my last quote here. I am becoming someone I am proud of. I actually couldn't find the right letters that I needed to write the word proud, so I had to make a couple of my own, which honestly felt very on brand for this vision board here. But again, kind of just honing in on that message, I want to make sure that I remember that we're all human, people make mistakes, it happens, and you just got to remember that sometimes you're going to make a mistake and sometimes you're going to get it right. Remember the times that you got it right and learn from the times that you made mistakes. While I'm doing this whole vision board, I'm constantly checking in with myself, asking questions like, does this represent the feeling I want? Does this spark something in me when I look at it? I move the pieces around until everything feels right. There's no wrong way to do this. It's all intuition. I also added this little candle to represent warmth. I used a small piece of cardboard to actually make it look like the flame was popping off the board, and it turned out way cooler than I expected. For me, the concept of the candle ties into acceptance, that feeling you get when you stop fighting reality and you just let yourself exist as you are. Oh, I can feel it as I'm talking, just that feeling of warmth like a blanket wrapped around you. I also added a little gold star for my pride section. I've always loved getting those little stickers from elementary school, and I still ask for them at the hairdressers. Who doesn't love a sticker? I also added the word night and a little clock to represent a night routine. Something I really want to focus on in the coming months is having a better routine set up, and the perfect way to do this is to make sure I have a consistent sleep schedule. So that is something that I'm really going to try to strive and work towards. For the finishing touches, I filled in the gaps with things that genuinely bring me joy. I drew my lovely two cats along the bottom here because they are a huge source of my comfort and happiness. I also added a little rainbow to represent pride, a pencil that symbolizes my love for both drawing and calligraphy, which is something that helps me feel creative and grounded. I also drew a little dumbbell to represent going to the gym, something I genuinely enjoy, along with the word gains as encouragement for me to keep showing up for myself. Along the side, I wrote the word slay, which is one of my favorite words to use, and I use this in a really fun, double tip pencil, and it kind of came out like a little trippy, which I love. And of course, I sprinkled little hearts throughout the board because I love, love, and love belongs everywhere. And looking back at this board, I honestly am very happy with how it all turned out. I really like that I decided to have some of my images popping off the screen. I think it kind of gave a more abstract effect, and it's really nice to look at. Like, it's just, it brings me a lot of joy, which is exactly what a vision board is supposed to do. So, I mean, 10 out of 10, go me. I loved, oh, it was just so much fun, honestly. And I mean, it probably has something to do with the fact that I love drawing, but I think also it was just a really nice grounding and reflective experience for me to be able to set aside that time and kind of look at all of the things that I want to accomplish in the next couple months. It was refreshing, it was grounding. I don't know. It was definitely a 10 out of 10 experience, and I strongly recommend it. And that's how I created my vision board. It is simple and creative, and honestly was such a grounding practice for me. I hope this inspired you to make your own and reconnect with what really matters to you in this season of your life. If you do create one, I would love to see it, so please feel free to email me your vision board at castin@ontariotherapist.com. I would love to chat with you further. And I also wanted to take the time to thank you for spending this time with me. I sincerely enjoyed making this video, and I really hope that you were able to learn something from it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you next month in Castin's Corner.